What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Console Kids Podcast. This episode, Sunday, we're doing it a little bit early, but normally I'm available at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday. For those of you that didn't catch this or catch this on the replay, because you're like, what? Justin went live early? Sorry about that, but I want to hear from you down in the comments about this episode. You can still engage, and those that are stopping by here in the chat, thank you so much for adjusting your time or being available to hang out. Today, we're going to be talking about when it's time to... And I love for you, those in the comments, to fill in the blank. What do you think I'm talking about? When is it time to... And you can make fun of me or whatever. When is it time to sell all your Arcade1UP cabinets? Is that what it is? No. When is it time to buy an Arcade1UP cabinet? Is it when they first come out, or do you want to wait? We're going to explore that topic in detail by analyzing some of the cabinets that I'm still considering to buy that came out this year or a little into last year. Now, I have a website called consultations.com where I track the site, track all the different websites that have the prices on it. Something that I've been doing throughout this year is saving in a little database all of the price changes. And soon, I think I've said this a few times, I plan on putting a price chart together so everyone can see access to that data, and you can see when the prices go up, when the prices go down, so you can make a decision of whether or not it's time to buy this Arcade1UP cabinet, because some of you are looking for deals and some of you are looking to have fun. We'll kind of talk about those topics today. So first, one of the cabinets that I want to look at is, that's right, Lewis is saying, Justin, a commenter says, Justin is moonlighting as a sensual massage therapist, hence the early time slot. Well, it's kind of interesting that you say that. It's not accurate, but I'm hanging out with a buddy later today. We're going to do, and he's actually a massage therapist, which is oddly ironic, but I don't know how you would know that, but the connection that you had said. So Bob says, KI and T2 are on his watch list for sales. If timing is right, I'm excited. That is awesome, Bob. Those are the two cabinets that I plan on talking about in the beginning of this episode. It's the exact cabinets that I thought have like a really good, if you will, case study. I can't think of another word for it. Anyway, so let's take a look at it. So we got T2, and I had to kind of go back in time and kind of get these dates together. And so what we saw was July 23rd. July 23rd, 2021 was the leak date of the Terminator 2 arcade machine. And so that machine was leaked. I remember Michael B made a video on it, and this is when I took a little break from making videos. I was planning on moving, which I did move. I moved into a different house that has a larger basement and a walkout basement. It allows me to expand this hobby and other hobbies that I have. And so that is one of the reasons why on the right-hand side, my video is actually doing a reaction video to Michael B. And the reason why is because I was already starting to pack up all of my stuff, and I was taking a break. So Michael B, the Game Genie, did a video July 23rd talking about this leak of the Terminator 2 shooter cabinet that we first heard about. Now, I think this price, I think it was... what was it? Chapters Indigo was a retailer. It was $8.49. That's $8.49 Canadian. And that's when we first heard about it. So what we're doing is establishing a timeline of over a year ago, we first heard about T2, but it wasn't available just yet. And then the pre-orders came out November 1st. So I put out a video around that time frame, and it showed... We now have pre-orders are going to be available. This is the Notify Me button on Arcade1UP's website. And there you go, November 1st. So almost a year ago, because right now this podcast was recorded October 23rd. So almost a year later from the original Terminator 2 pre-order, that's what we're coming into. But what are the prices that we've seen on the Terminator 2 cabinet? Those that are in the live chat, can you drop in your guesses or your thoughts about the price drops that we've seen? Now, it was originally $699. If you already bought this, I'd love to hear from you. How much did you pay for it? There's no shaming. If you paid full price for it, that's fine. That's fine. We're going to talk about that. If you got a deal, let me know if you got a deal. And I'm gonna reveal the data that I have access to from my site, and we'll kind of talk about it. So about 8 months from that pre-order date, that is the first time I have on record that we saw a price drop from Terminator 2. It went down to $3.99. So Kevin in the comments, he's saying in the chat, he says he got it for $3.99. It must have been either that deal or some future deals. Sosa Fam Bam, he got it for $4.99. Now remember, this was a $6.99 cabinet. Lewis says, if T2 drops to $200, I'll pick it up. I think that price is fair. So again, with the theme of this podcast episode, we're talking about when is it time to? When is it time to purchase that one that you wanted to get? Do you want to get it at that full $6.99 price? And there's a reason to do that. Or would you want to get it with a $3.99 price drop? It's interesting, though, when you take a look at it, it's available right now, but it's available yesterday, so December 22nd, as of the recording of this podcast, $3.99 was the price. But today, on Sunday, the price went to $4.99. So we're seeing a price fluctuation. I'm hoping that I'll be able to integrate that on the website to kind of indicate that it was recently price dropped, but now it's kind of gone up in price. So you might want to wait. You might not want to pay $4.99 because potentially it'll go, maybe you'll go back to that $3.99 price. Okay, so yeah, that is the question. When is it time to buy Terminator 2? We're going to move on to the next topic because you can kind of see this theme going on, or we'll ask the questions, I should say. We'll ask the questions. Should you buy for $6.99? Now, here's one of the benefits of buying it at that full $6.99 price. You get to enjoy it right away. Some people are willing to pay the full price for Arcade1UP because they get to enjoy it right away. Now, that isn't always the case. So think about it. NFL Blitz right now, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 right now. Some people are complaining about being the early adopters to this cabinet. So are they fully enjoying the cabinet from the pre-order? But I hear a whole bunch of other people saying never, ever, 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 ever buy the pre-order, And maybe that's true. I don't always buy the pre-order, right? But that's just what I'm going to do, right? What you're going to do is your decision. Let's discuss the options, and then obviously you got to make your choice. Down in the chat, let me know what you think. Any cab, according to Renee, any cab with riser at $300, totally worth it. Let's see. We got, we're only like 5 minutes in, see Marvel. Let's see. Chris says, one game makes it hard, even at $3.99 for me. Canadian, I'd be surprised if I'd ever saw it under $500. JT says, talking about Terminator 2, I don't see T2 dropping to $199. The Sinden guns alone sell for that. I think $299 to $349 will be the lowest. We will see if there's an additional price drop. Chris is saying $6.99 for one game is really steep considering the tech that can get you. All right, and then EPT Cyclone says T2 for $3.99, excellent purchase. Put in a subwoofer and speaker, so awesome. All right, so we're gonna jump into this next thing because there's something interesting about. We're gonna talk about another cabinet, Killer Instinct, and Terminator 2. And we'll use Terminator 2 as a contrast. If you still want to talk about Terminator 2 in the chat, I welcome you, and we'll get back to those comments in just a second. I'm gonna pause kind of where I'm at in the chat so we can resume in just a minute. Let's talk about Killer Instinct. So currently, Killer Instinct, the standard edition, is $4.99. Now keep in mind, this originally came out also for that $6.99 price. When did this come out? Do you guys remember when this came out? I was trying to look for the information on this, and it seems about a year ago. Do you remember? About a year ago, it was kind of in that towards the end of the year, November, December, we started to see information about Killer Instinct dropping. We got really early information last year, in fact, on it. And we even kind of knew it earlier than that. It was kind of something that was revealed early on. Then I remember the pre-orders were available. And then before anyone got it, we got Twisted Chris doing a review on the Killer Instinct $6.99, right? At least that's my memory. I could be way off. I did a little bit of research, but that's where I'm at. Looking at the data that I have, it was about 8 months later, maybe a little less, 7 or 8 months, depending on when you were able to get it. I know by February there was videos of reviews. There's reviews that are marked about 8 months ago, 6 months ago, from the filming of this podcast. So that's when we started seeing a $4.99 price. Now, if you look on the screen, I have listed August 5th as a $4.99 price drop, and then August 9th, it went back up, but it didn't go to the highest amount. It went to $4.49. So we're jumping straight to that question again. When is it time to buy KI? But here's the thing. It gets a little complicated. KI is more complicated. Why'd you gotta make it so complicated? 'Cause life like this, you... Anyway, for those listening, they're like, what is Justin doing? So the standard edition came out, but we got the Pro that's supposed to come out later this year. And so this puts Arcade1UP in a really interesting situation. T2 is kind of at the end of its life cycle. We're starting to see that it's available at less retailers. The price is going way down, maybe that $3.99 to $4.99, but we still see KI Standard at $4.99, and we don't yet have the KI Pro out. So what's going to happen? So when is it time to buy KI? Now I'm gonna jump to the end of the chat. Love to hear what you guys have to say about when is it time to buy KI, and we'll take a look at those other messages as well. Here's the options that I can think of. You could have bought the Killer Instinct Standard Edition right away for $6.99. Enjoy it right away, right? You would have been enjoying it for the last 6, 7, 8 months or so. You could have waited 8 months and bought it at $4.99. You could wait longer, and maybe we'll get $3.99, because we know $3.99 is a price that we saw T2 at. That came out similar time frame. And keep in mind, Killer Instinct doesn't have the send-in light gun, so maybe we will see a $3.99 price drop. Do you wait for the Pro version? And I got a copy and paste error from that final bullet point. Don't buy T2 ever is your option, but I mean KI in this situation. So what do you guys think with these different options with Killer Instinct? Is this something that you want? You did buy at full price. You're glad that you bought it at full price. Is it better waiting for those units to come down in price, or are you just waiting for the Pro version? If you're watching on the replay, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment as well. But for now, I'm going to take a look at the chat. We got Pitbull saying, hey, buddy, what's going on? Really appreciate it. JJ says, hey, Justin, should you make a poll for this? I was thinking about making a poll, but I'd love to hear and read your words about it. So I'd love to just type in, because then I can have, I can say, hey, JJ, I literally hear your opinion. And I assume the chat will be a little light today because I'm not going at a normal schedule. So, please go ahead and type, and I'll give you a thought. I'll do a poll at the end of the show if you'd like. That's just a general poll. I can set that up, where it's just like, is it best to do pre-orders? Is it best to wait? Get your guys' thoughts on it. So Mike says, the week of December 1st, I will have room for one additional cab. Whatever is on sale, I think, sale at Best Buy that week with in-store pickup options, I'm going to get. If T2 has modding options for $3.99, I might consider it. Kirk says, Golden Axe still $5.49, and it's not going down. Golden Axe is a special cab. That's a good point, I wonder if there's... What I think happens is Arcade1UP has a warehouse in California, and they definitely can't fill it all the way, and they got to have a lot of inventory go in and out, right? But I think the KI, or I think the Golden Axe, they have some there. Maybe they have some at Kokum, and it doesn't seem to be a set of cabs that they're needing that inventory space, so they're like holding on to those special cabinets. But for some reason, we see it with these other cabinets. We see the price drop. We see the full life cycle of the cabinets, where they come out at a high price and then they get 50% discounted towards the end of their life cycle, which only seems to be about 8 months, about a year. It kind of makes sense, because Arcade1UP has previously talked about how their model is basically like a seasonal model. You know, so I think they get their biggest sales like in the golden quarter, you know, which we're like in right now, like into November, into December. At least that's what it's been traditionally, but it's hard to say because they also follow the whole, they come out with cabinets in around CES and E3, so I don't know if it's so true anymore, but at least I remember that's what they said before. Mike says Golden Axe is up there with Star Wars and Dragon's Lair in cabs. They did right. Let's see what we say. Gamer Price 40 says, really want KI, but not sure if I should wait for the lower price than $499. Mike says KI Pro wasn't worth waiting for. KI Regular was a blast sale at $449 at Best Buy yesterday. Same PCB as Pro that the Pro will have, according to John D said. And that makes sense. Like, I mean, that makes sense. If you're going to build a Pro and a standard cab, I don't see any reason why you would need to have a different chipset. I mean, there could be an exception where the speakers are supposed to be the Yamaha speakers, and if they're bigger speakers, I think there's multiple speakers. Can the audio amplifier that's built into the circuit of the PCB, is it powerful enough to drive those set of speakers? Do you need different circuits to be able to drive it? I don't know. I don't know the answer. Like, maybe however they're building the audio amp inside that PCB, maybe it's good enough to power a variety of type of speakers, including the ones that'll be in the KI. You know, I guess in general, it wouldn't surprise me if the Pro PCB is slightly different because of little things like that. But generally, I bet it's the same chipset, the actual same SoC. I knew I liked it, DCAD says. I knew I liked KI, but I held off. I got it a couple months ago for $499. Now I wish I would have got it day one. So here's an interesting commenter that's saying, you know, he held off from buying it from he waited until the price was $499, but now he wished he would have got it day one. So this is kind of thing what I'm talking about to illustrate that some people are going to have that opinion. And this is where I'm at right now. I have a lot of things in my life that I'm waiting for. Is it time to? One of the things that's on my mind is buying a full-size pinball. Well, it's not really full-size, but at the very end of last week's podcast, we talked about 2 pinball machines. And I've been talking to Greg, this guy locally, and he's able to sell me a Star Wars Episode 1 and Revenge from Mars pinball. And I'm still in talks with him. We both got really busy this week, but we reached out to each other today, and we're like, okay, we're going to connect, and you know, I'll go take a look at. I want to see the quality of these machines. And when should I do that? And there's all these different things. Like, I was thinking about finishing this basement. You know, should I put the pinball machines down in the basement? Should it be in my office? The office kind of makes more sense. I actually only plan on being in this house for another 4 to 5 years. This is I don't know. I love this house, but that's what I typically do. Is I buy a house. Do a fix-up on it, sell it after 5 years, and hopefully make a little bit of money on it and kind of buy another house. So I don't know. Like, that means any cab that I put into this basement is the cab that I'm going to have to take out. Or any pinball machine that's big, anything that I put in this basement, I'm going to take out, where the office is a little closer. So when is it time to? It's the same question for these Arcade1UP cabinets, like T2. I'm sitting here thinking, like, when is it time to? $399? Do I wait for the $199? Or do I miss out on not being able to enjoy it because I end up having it for a shorter amount of time because I'm waiting for a deal? And is it worth it just to pay a little bit more? And that's my new justification. Like, I'm not saying this because I'm going to go out and buy T2 the moment I see it at $399. Maybe I'll wait for $299. But it's still a question you have to think about, because how many times have you bought something and you finally get it and you've watched enough reviews on it, you know what to expect. You know that the emulation on T2 is not going to be perfect, but I also know I'm never going to buy a full-size T2, not in this house. That is way too big. Like, I don't think I'd be able to get it into the places that I'd want it to be in this house. So the idea of owning an Arcade1UP T2 for the next 5 years, who knows what the next house would be? Like, would I have a bigger garage or something? I don't know. My family is also talking about in 5 years, like, would we even still live in this state? I think so. We'd live in this state, but it's, you know, who knows? We don't know what's going to happen in the next 5 years. We also talked about the next 5 years, maybe a townhouse for us. We were like, maybe we'd move to a townhouse, kind of a smaller place, right? That could mean that I wouldn't have a game room, or maybe another bedroom would be the game room, but the whole dynamics would change. Anyway, I'm ranting. I'm sorry. I'm going on. Let's see. So the real Zim, he says, I got KI when it launched. It was a must buy for me, so maybe biased, but if you like fighting games and have the money, you won't regret it now for $4.99 or less. C Marvel 360 says, if you have the space right now, it's a good time to buy KI. It has all the latest patches, including one from the devs that reduced input lag because the KI Pro requires the space. If you have the space right now, because the KI requires space. Got it. Floyd says he's waiting for the Pro. Lewis Chambers says he wants KI at sub $4.99. Let's see. We got Kangay says, I love the KI, but the cab kind of needs more games. Still love mine, though. Paid full price for my birthday. Kalax29 says, I would buy it for $3.99 or $4.99, sorry. If it was a 3-player Battletoads cab. There we go. Very good. We got a lot of people commenting. I really appreciate the comments here. I'm going to see if I can speed run through these next ones, guys, because I got some more content that I want to get to for sure. Pitbull says, well, I would say even at the Pro, I can't take them for the word that it will be actually online. Now, I think the Pro is going to be online, right? Because the standard one's online when it comes to KI. So I think we're okay there, right? JT says, I'm a hard pass on KI. Just wasn't a game I got into. I'm with you on that one. I didn't really get into KI. If there's a Soul Calibur cab, you'll have to hold me back. Zero Hero says he picked up the KI for $4.99. I think it's going to be 2 years before KI goes any lower than $3.99. I think you're right. RC Willie had KI for $3.99. Best Buy price matched it for the other Joseph. Man, that's really, really cool. I don't think I have that documented. I got to do better on my site. It needs a little bit of work, and then I should be able to catch those things like that. I think I'm not scanning RC Willie for any new products is my problem. Bill's Retro Gaming Show says for KI Pro, people will be disappointed if it has the same 19-inch TN monitor. Last time I checked, I did hear from Arcade1UP, they did say they acquired a 19-inch BOE. And it's their plan to put it in all of the Pro machines, the XLs and Pros. It's their plan. But there was a caveat. This was an interesting thing. I don't know if I've ever said it online. This is something John told me months ago. When they ordered the 17-inch TN, from their perspective, they were ordering the same TN monitor, or someone reviewed it and said, this is the same TN monitor that we had for the Gen 2 that had the better lighting, that had the better quality than the Gen 1. And so what they found out, or what I'm understanding is, when Arcade1UP bought the TN monitors more recently from Mortal Kombat, they thought the quality was not going to be worse than Gen 1. Because when they order from those different manufacturers that acquire different monitors, the detail of what backlight they're using is not really in the conversation. And so I tried to lay it out as much as I could to get that information shared within the company, that it does matter. IPS matters. Also, LED backlit is much better than the fluorescent backlights, especially if it's only on one side. And that's what you don't want, is the lack of lighting that's not consistent across from the left to right. I was like, you got to demand your manufacturers to be, forthcoming with that information, and make sure someone in the quality buyer committee, whatever, who's buying the parts, reviews and make sure that it meets your standards. And that's kind of the problem with Arcade1UP. Many companies, this makes sense, right? If you're in manufacturing, you're producing, developing, you're like, this is standard, right? They don't do anything standard, right? It's just like they have this formula that are like, we're going to get the IP, and then we're going to sell it to retailers, and we're going to outsource all the work to developers and manufacturers. And I don't think they have someone that's going through with a fine-tooth comb and like making sure all of the manufacturers are doing exactly and doing the exact quality parts that they have expected from them before. I don't think they do that, but BOE has never screwed anyone before, or Arcade, any BOE 17-inch has been really good. It's IPS, so hopefully the 19-inch BOE will be good. We'll have to see. You know, the KI Pro, that might be one. Even if you want to get a KI Pro, you might wait until someone has a pre-production or production model and you can kind of see the different angles. And if it's like, hey, the angles look good, then maybe that will help you make the decision. Sorry, I ranted for a couple minutes there on one little topic. Let's see if I can speed through. I'm waiting for the Killer Instinct Pro cabinet. Nooner says, not to sidetrack, but the first Pro should be something like Star Wars, in my humble opinion, or in my opinion, trilogy perhaps. I agree, that was a mistake. I think I've even heard other people say from Arcade1UP that it was a mistake. That was a decision by the previous marketer, to kind of like, let's say that the standard is coming out, but then tell everyone that the Pro is coming. And they weren't even fully committed that Killer Instinct needed a Pro. Because like, does that game have the demand that's gonna like be able to produce enough sales to cover a single run of a Pro machine? Now, one thing I have heard, this is months ago because I barely talked to the company now. One thing that I did heard is because of the Killer Instinct Pro's expectation of low sales, they were able to reanalyze the manufacturing commitments that they have to make on a single cabinet and reconfigure the cabinet. I don't know how different it'll be from what we early saw. Maybe it's the same. Maybe we don't even notice the difference. But they can do a small run, is what I heard. 500 to 1,000 machines, period. Done. Beginning to end. And sell them at that probably $1,000. I'm not really sure exactly. And they don't have to do the minimum order of 3,000. They don't have to do the minimum order of 10,000. Like, the minimum order can be a little bit lower. And so, and then they'll still have the everyone makes a little bit of money, like, you know, the IP owners and, you know, all the royalties get distributed. If that's true, maybe we'll see more Pros. You know, it'll just be limited quantity and they'll do it on CABS. It would be great if they did a Star Wars. I would probably upgrade. Probably. I don't know. It's a lot of money. $1,000. I mean, I don't know. It would. Yeah, I probably would. Even if they re-release the Star Wars Atari, I was looking at it, man. I'll show you in just a second. While we're on the topic of Star Wars, let's see if I can jump to the slide that I have. So here's a cabinet that I missed out on. Let's see if I got it up now. And so this was available in my area. This is a full-size Star Wars machine. I expected this towards the end of the video, but we can do it now. $4,500. Now, of course, this is a real Star Wars upright machine. It's now pending. It's in Bluegrass, Iowa. I was thinking about it. A little too rich for me. I was going to see if I can negotiate, but when is it time to pull the trigger on something like this? At what price would you do it? And I just don't really want to spend that money. So it looked pretty good. It was in pretty good shape. This is the machine, right? But then if you think about it, if they came out with a full-size replica for $1,500 Arcade1UP or $1,000 for a Pro version, you're blurring the lines on, and this is a Nintendo Red Tint I took a picture of that I thought was pretty interesting as well. You're blurring the lines, and maybe the Arcade1UP at $1,000 is pretty good compared to how big this would be. The headache of the screen, now if the screen's in really good condition and it'll last a long time because it's been refurbished recently or by a trusted person, or you know how to do that yourself, then maybe it'd be worth it. But $4,500, I mean, you could look at it this way, and this is the way I thought about it. Like, how long are you going to own it? And could you resell it later? Could you get your money back? And so you're investing a lot of money in a real cabinet, but hopefully you don't buy it for $45 and then sell it for $25, right? Maybe even if you sold it at the same price that you bought it at, hey, you got to use it for a couple of years, right? I don't know if you ever got into full-size arcades, or if you're gonna own, you know, own them forever? Is this cabinets that you buy and you never ever sell? Part of the hobby is kind of buying and selling, at least for certain people. So it should be acknowledged that is part of the hobby that people enjoy. I got other pictures that I want to show later, but we'll get to that. Let's see, we're 30 minutes into the show. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching so far. And we're going to continue with the comments, and we're going to get to this this other topic in just a few minutes. Let's see. Biggie says they're waiting to release the KI Pro until they source enough 19-inch BOE monitors. I think that's happening now. By the end of the year, right? So I think the wait is over. It's just the marketing time of when to announce it. I don't have the money for another CABS since I just bought the new Explorer scientific eyepiece. Ooh, new Explorer scientific eyepiece. Plus, I don't have the room for more CABS, even though they look nice, I think is what he's saying. Let's see. I'm glad Justin picked this time for the show this week, since the unimportant game Giants are right now with the important Jets not starting for another hour. Okay. I might be able to find and make room for another cab, but it would be either a Star Wars or a virtual pinball unit. There we go, JJ. Brandon says, RC Willie gave me a price match after 30 days passed, but the Pong, for the Pong Pug table, when they had dropped it to $2.99, from $2.99 to $1.99, they were sold out at that time. Amazing. Love your website. That's interesting. RC Willie gave him the price match. So some people, what they do is they go to Best Buy and they price match RC Willie because they don't really have an RC Willie in their area. So Best Buy does the price match. But what Brandon's saying is it was the other way. RC Willie gave me a price match for the Pong table when they had dropped it from $2.99 to $1.99. They were also sold out at that time. Like, you were still able to get it? Is that what you're trying to say? That's cool. I think this is a positive message. Let's see. Eating Taco Bell while watching this. I am enjoying watching you talk. There we go. Mike says, maybe John D was referring to power needed for the game list. I think I would need to get KI for $449 over waiting longer for the Pro at $899 plus. So maybe that's another thing. Like we talked about the Pro being $1,000. Will we ever get a Pro at a price drop? That's kind of a new territory, because imagine Arcade1UP only makes 500 or 1,000 of something. Not 3,000, not 10,000, right? And they price it at $1,000. Will they sell them out? You know, man, if they can't sell out 1,000 Pros, I think they could. I don't know. Maybe the demographic for the Pro is really small. Maybe the market is really small. We'll find out. It's a brand new product line. And a couple weeks ago, I did a podcast and I did the poll. And the idea of a Pro at that price was really not exciting to a lot of people. I think a lot of people respect the Pro, want a Pro, but that price, it's like right out. No, not going to spend that much. I can buy 2 or 3 cabs for that price. I think for me, and I think maybe it's for a lot of people as well, is that price is good if it's your holy grail cabinet. If it's like, yes, I will buy that cabinet, like a Star Wars trilogy, in a Pro model, because I really, really want that cabinet, and to me, it would be worth it. Take my money. But there's a lot of people, I think, in the home arcade where they buy some of these cabinets a little bit more, you know, for $3.99, $4.99. They can afford it, you know, every 6 months or so. They're like, yeah, I'll buy another cab. At 3 months, they're like, I'll save up some money, and like, okay, I did pretty good saving the money. I'll buy it for that price. But saving all the way up to that $1,000, that's a bigger discussion with the family. Think of how much you could do with that money, what you could do, vacations. I mean, that's getting into, like, you can have pretty decent, like, getaway vacation times for $1,000, right? I mean, come on. It's money, right? Like, there's a lot of things you can do for $1,000. So it's tough. It's really tough. It's definitely. How to Bachelor with the Super Chat. He says, hi, hello, like, comment, and subscribe. I always appreciate How to Bachelor with his very oddly rounded Super Chats. Nothing wrong with it. It's just going to call it out. $369. I think he picked that price very specifically because he's like, I want to stand out as different. It's picking it's not a $3.99, it's not a $2.99 super chat, it's a $3.69 super chat. I appreciate that, man. Let's see if I can. I can't keep up. I can't keep up with the chat, guys. I really appreciate the chat, but there's more content I want to show you, and I can't do both. You know what I need to do is I need to do 2 shows. Hit one in the chat if you like this idea. I've been thinking about it for a while. I'm thinking about, if you guys don't notice this, I rarely make videos, and I love it. I just do these live streams. I've been doing the live streams almost exclusively for a year now. Like, I have the least amount of content that I make that are just 5-minute videos from all my contemporaries. Least amount. And that's fine. That's what I enjoy. So think about making a second show, right? 2 podcasts a week, okay? And I'm thinking about Wednesday. And so Sunday is a show where I do more research, it's graphics or whatever. I don't know, whatever the Sunday show is, that format. And then Wednesday is just really, I just read the chat. That's it. Topher says, I command you to not read this chat. I failed, Topher. Anyway, I've been thinking about it recently. It might be later night, but it's really fun to hear what you have to say. I read it, I think about it. The next day, I think about it. It kind of, I don't know. It's really interactive in a very fun way. So let's get back to the next topic. And it's Shaq. Did you guys see this? I put this together. I've been wanting to talk about this for a while here. So I saw this picture on Arcade1UP's website. It's the picture all the way on the right, and it's Shaq playing the NBA Jam Shaq Edition, the 16-foot version. And I zoomed in, and I was like, what is going on? Look at Shaq's hand on that joystick. It's like it actually fits him. So the 16-foot Shaq Edition fits Shaq pretty well. But see here, Zero Hero, don't burn yourself out, Justin. It wouldn't burn me out. I don't make other video. A lot of content creators make 4 videos a week, right? I don't do that. So I think I could take on another live stream. Anyway, but then I wanted to, yeah, it's almost the Shaq size. So what I wanted to do was compare this to other pictures of Shaq holding normal things, right? In a single picture here, you can see Shaq on the right, and then he's holding a donut, and then he's holding a pizza. The guy's pretty big. I don't know. I just thought it was funny. That's the only slide. That's it. There's no other topic about Shaq that I want to talk about, except for I wanted to show this picture. Thank you for indulging me. The next thing I want to talk about, oh man, I messed up. I revealed this. I just doxed this guy. Okay, everyone who has a Facebook, go find this, because I didn't get Sean's permission, and I'm revealing, I guess, I don't know if that's his name. Maybe that's not his last name. So as you can see, if you look closely, I have these this black mark to black out what I thought was his last name. But anyway, if you see this post on Facebook, go comment, say he did an amazing job. Shout out to this guy, Sean. His reimagination of the partycade, he just finished it this weekend. So look on the left. Now tell me, imagine, okay, we're probably all Pac-Man out, right? But notice he's got Donkey Kong on it, right? Tell me if Arcade1UP came out with this. Ignore the Donkey Kong, right? Would you buy this form factor? All right, I want to hear you guys in the comment. What do you think of that form factor? And hey, just to give it, instead of you just saying yes or no, tell me what price you think that's worth. That Pac-Man in that form factor, if Arcade1UP did it directly, what do you think it's worth? Okay. And, what title would you want to see this form factor in? It's a really cool way to do a one-player. Now, the Pac-Mans for the partycades are pretty cool because the joystick's in the center. There's only usually 1, 2, or 3 buttons on the right-hand side. Sometimes they do a button on both sides, like if they have Galaga in there. And I think it's really cool. So Mike says the reimagined partycade looks phenomenal. Kevin's like, no sale. Guy emails like $200, $349. Mike says, looks like a partycade form. There we go. With Wi-Fi, $300. Bill's Retro Gaming Show, he says, I think he's running a 60-in-1 in there. Yeah, I think so, probably. Curious what he hid all the internals, because the partycade is slimmer than the normal one. Yeah, I think what he did, if you look at it, I agree with you, just kind of glancing at it, I think what he did was where the partycade here is flat, right? Straight up and down. He was able to have it a slight angle, which I think that slight angle, like if you take a picture of this may not be like the best monitor, but your viewing angle looking kind of down at the partycade, that's the thing. Like you can hang this where your head would probably be around where this mouse is, right? And looking kind of at an angle on it, that screen, because it's angled back at you, looking really good. The other thing, so he can probably fit right in there, you know, the guts right in the back of there. It gives you a little bit more room. Then he's got this control panel that's sticking out further. So what is that going to do? That's going to be easier on your hands, right? Your hands will have something to rest, because we're old and we need to rest our hands. We're not like little kids anymore where we don't even rest our hands on it. But then, as Topher is pointing out, I'm seeing this, the speakers down low will be interesting. If the treble is high enough, it's really cool. That was the other thing I was interested in. So the partycade, at my new house, I haven't set up a dedicated place for my partycades yet, but I have been playing it recently. I mean, so like I moved them recently to my office, and they're just sitting there and they're not up yet. But I had them literally like on a counter. So it was like these partycades that were on counter, and it was like that for a good 6 months. And I was playing the Defender mostly. Also had the NBA Jam countercade next to it. I was playing that a lot. So what I had found was, depending on how you have the partycade positioned, and up on the counter, I had it was a little higher. And so the speakers the whole thing was kind of up high. And it was actually pretty comfortable. But at my other house, I had it hanging on a door, and it was a little lower. And the speakers would hit my body. Like I kind of got it all figured out, and they would get the sound to travel up. And it actually sounded pretty good. But this one over here, yeah, I'm really curious about the speakers. But if you notice, he's got some big speakers on it. So maybe the big speakers has a lot of forgiveness, because, you know, he probably put some 3-inch speakers over here. And so maybe that produces something a little bit louder. So what do you guys think about that? I got another picture coming up soon of a really cool device that I saw online that I want to share with you guys. Get your thoughts on it. I think same standard price, and they wouldn't do speaker grills, just the usual cutout. Yeah, I could see them doing that, because this basically like is a Partycade Pro, if you will, right? Actually, that's not a bad name. The Partycade Pro. It's like you can get the Partycade or you can get the Partycade Pro. What do you guys think of the Partycade Pro? That's pretty good. Let's see. I only like the countercades. The Partycade is kind of ugly. I know some people have that opinion, and I appreciate that. I own 5 partycades, like this guy's the other way, right? And I would like a few more. That's another question I have. I went to QVC and I went to HSN, and I just don't see any partycades on there anymore. Like HSN, I don't think has any right now. I could be wrong, but I checked earlier today. I was like, HSN, I can't find. I type in Arcade1UP Partycade, I couldn't find it. So, I mean, maybe it's there, but I couldn't find it. In QVC, I only saw one. And I remember watching a video from them earlier this summer, and they had said they had placed their orders for the partycades that will come in November. Now, that could be just the host of QVC just making stuff up to sound cool, because he's trying to sell the current generation, saying, oh, the next generation won't come out till Christmas or something. But he did say that, and if it's true, then what are the new partycades? When are they coming out? What are the titles? They seem every year to add 2 more games to it. Does that mean we're going to get 12-game partycade? Will they finally do a Street Fighter? They did a Street Fighter, but that Street Fighter was like super low quantity, like always sold out. They didn't market it. They didn't push it. I think they only had it at like Walmart. But if they did a Street Fighter like this, I think it would do really well. I think that would be really, really cool. Maybe it's online. Maybe it's not online. I don't know. I think there's a place for partycades, because it's the same 17-inch BOE monitor that we've seen on the regular cabs that we like, at a reduced price, and you hang them at the wall. The only thing that's, I think, negative about it is how, and this guy fixed it, is the slanted screen would make it better, and the larger control deck would make it better. It's a really good design. I really like it. Pitbull says, hey buddy, I just uploaded a video. You coming on my show and just like spamming, right? Okay, I'm just kidding. So, hey buddy, I just uploaded a video of an arcade that I just went through a walkthrough of the pinball, one of the different ones in my city. So go check out Pitbull. He has his own channel, and on his channel, he's been doing these tours. They're pretty cool. I'm excited to watch it. He's been messaging me on the side about how excited he is about doing it. So that gets me excited. Anyone who's excited about something that they do gets me excited, and then that gets them excited, and then we encourage each other, and then we excite each other, and that's cool. But the countercade screens are also small. That's true. I hope it was Kangaroo. Let's see. I modded 2 of these so far, and I'd like Arcade1UP to come out with different shapes. Nooner says. Mike says, if anything, it makes me wonder if they could do those speakers under the marquee. Under the marquee. Oh, that's interesting. So, partycade, could they get the speakers under the marquee? That's interesting. I find that interesting. Let's see. Might be the only option, and that could make it even nicer than this. That's a good point. I wonder if that could be engineered that way. The thing about the partycade is you get the 17-inch screen. That's right. And that 17-inch screen actually looks pretty good because you're that much closer to the screen. Because the control panel is smaller, the one upside is you're actually closer to the machine. But if you take a look at this, I think it's a good compromise. You'd still be pretty close, even though that, you're like maybe 6 inches more. Well, you probably maybe the same distance. Let's see. The joystick, your elbow, it's probably the same distance. But it kind of makes it look bigger. Because you're closer to it. Much better looking cab, depending on games list. 149, 199 tops. How sturdy is the partycade when you're sitting on the tabletop feet? So I was playing Sinistar a ton, and I didn't even have. Now I'm not recommending this, but I'm just telling you what I did. So I had my partycade. I didn't even have the skis on it. The feet. I didn't even use the feet. I just literally had the partycade on the countertop. But in the corner of, it's like a bar top. It's like literally in my basement, there's like a refrigerator on the other side. It's like a bar top. But it's pretty tall. We don't have any like stools or anything like that. It's kind of taller than you would have stools. And it sat right on there, but kind of up against the wall. So there's like a corner of the wall that was coming out, and I put it right in the corner. And no issues. I don't have a little kid. She's 14 now, so like didn't have any issues there. CT Jason says 195.98 not play. Let's see. Depends on how rough you get with it, JJ. I haven't tripped over. I haven't tipped one over yet myself. Playing Defender on the partycade is better experience than the 3/4 Legacy at CABS. Woo. Yeah. I see. Because of the layout. I get it. I thought maybe you were saying that for other reasons. The layout, yeah, obviously. I was thinking about like more comfortable, like I guess it could be more comfortable. Let's see. Gonna have to jump. Kong's in the chat. What's going up? Yeah, that's right. Early show tonight. Bob says, honestly, I don't notice the small screen on the countercades when playing. All I see is the screen anyway. You gotta, Bob, you gotta, what you should do, Bob, is give me permission to show everybody your game room. And it is awesome. His game room is really, really cool. If you give me permission, Bob, reach out to me on Messenger and give me a thumbs up on Messenger. I'm actually trying to find you on Messenger. He says, permission granted. Reach out to me. I'm trying to find you in the list. I can't find you in the list. Just message me real quick on Messenger, and I'll show those pictures. Bob's game room is sick. It's really, really cool. And he sent me pictures like a year ago of where he was at. I was like, oh, that looks pretty cool. And then he showed me pictures of like he's getting closer to being complete. And it is so cool, so cool. If you got time, jump on Messenger real quick, Bob, and say hello. So your name shows up in my list. I don't think I've chatted with you recently on Messenger, so I can't find you. I type in Bob and it's like it doesn't know who Bob is. Let's see. So let me before we get into that. So hang out to see Bob's game room. It's really cool. I'm going to show you this other thing that I think is really, really awesome. Have you guys ever seen this? So I saw this on Facebook Market, and this is something else. Where did yeah, Bob? Wherever you? I thought you. Oh, was it Twitter? Did you send me all that stuff on Twitter? Maybe that's why. Yeah, just reach out to me somehow. I'm trying to think. Where is Bob at? Where do I message him on Twitter? Is that what it is? Bob said yes. Yeah, I can't find you in any of my messaging systems. Anyway, okay, Facebook Messenger. Facebook Messenger. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not on Facebook, buddy. I don't do social media. How did I? Oh, I know what it is. Hold on one second. Bob, do me a favor. You showed me in person is what it is. Email me consolekits@gmail.com. Do that. If you got a second, take one of your pictures and email me at consolekits@gmail.com. That's what it is. We were in person in Chicago and you showed me your game room. And so I don't have pictures of your game room because they're on your phone. So if you want to just email me, if you can, email me a couple of those pictures and I'll show it. And if not, we'll do it on another show. Okay, so hit 1 in the chat if anyone, or hit 0. 0 means no, 1 means yes. Okay, 0 means no, 1 means yes. Did you guys know that there was this like little Coleco Zaxxon? Now I'm sure everyone knows about Coleco. Cool, man. Bob's emailing now. I'm sure everyone knows about Coleco, but did you know there was a Coleco Zaxxon? Because I did not know. And I was looking at this thing going, whoa, this is really cool looking. Like there's been a couple Colecos that I did buy, but this Zaxxon is so cool. And there's a lot of people saying zeros. JJ knew about it. There's a lot of other zeros. And this one's available, I think, on Facebook Market in my area. But it's kind of expensive. I want to say it was like $130. So I don't know if it's really worth that. I don't know if I'd be willing to spend that. I own the full-size arcade Zaxxon. And I was able to get that for $400. It's in pretty decent condition. And so, yeah, that's right. It's freaking cool. It says, what's the 0 and 1 for? Simba crushing on a bone. Honestly, 0 and 1, there's a YouTuber called Star Wars Theory. And I would watch his live streams. This was like, I don't know, 3-4 years ago. And he was like, hit 1s in the chat. Spam 1s in the chat if you like this Star Wars thing, right? And he was just... But he has like, I don't know, like 5,000 people in the chat. And so for him to get like feedback, like he's like spam 1s in the chat, spam 0s in the chat. And I thought it was a really cool thing. So then on like 1UP Weekly, we asked questions and I was like spam 1 in the chat. And it kind of caught on, right? And but yeah, Star Wars Theory live chat I thought it was a really cool idea because it's really easy, right? To just type in 1 or 0. 0. Star Wars overrated. So this was really cool. I wanted to share it. I mean, I've been having this saved in my Facebook. Like maybe if the price drops, maybe I'd pick it up. I feel like I would get it. I could put it on a shelf. It's definitely like a shelf item, but I don't really know if it has enough sentimental value to me that it'd be worth spending that money. All right, so what I want to do is go in and show you a couple more items that I've been eyeing on Facebook Messenger for months. When is it time? This is still in the theme. When is it time to pull the trigger on these things, right? And before we do that, let me read this chat by CT Jason. He says, how about instead of re-releasing another Pac-Man in that new body type, they just put a new title or title that has never got a cab a chance? I'd buy those 100%. Really appreciate the message there, CT Jason. It's really nice. So this is he says every time you say right, we drink. All right, that's I just said it again, so now we got to drink. Everyone in the chat, right? Right. So here's the next one. What do you guys think of this? So this one is available in my area. It's a Namco candy cab. Now, I don't think it has a CRT in it. It looks like an LCD. I did reach out to him, and I did reach out to this guy and ask him what size screen it is. He said it's a 19-inch, okay? 19-inch screen. So, but this is a candy cab, but that screen kind of looks really small. But imagine owning a real candy cab. How much would you pay for this Namco? Imagine it was available locally in your area. It's already modded to play thousands of games on it. It has some type of like Pandora's box in it. It's already pre-configured with supposedly nice sticks and buttons. And how much do you think it's worth? And I just got some pictures from Bob, so we'll be showing that next. It's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet setup he's got. How much do you guys think? So C Marvel says $500 to $600 for this candy cab. That's what it's worth. Namco, but with Neo Geo. $500 or less is what you guys are saying. Frank D says, a real candy cab? As in made out of candy? That's right. Like you can lick this and you taste it. And he says, I wouldn't buy a candy cab without a CRT in it. I would buy an Egret 2 or Astro City for $1,000. So my good buddy 19K Fox recently spent, I want to say about $2,000 on a candy cab. Oh, I probably shouldn't mention all the details because he's going to make content on this. Be on the lookout for 19K Fox crushing it with content when it comes to buying a candy cab. That'll make up for it. And he'll talk about where he got it, how he got it, and if it's any good. And so this one is available in my area, and UAG is saying it's worth $1,200. Now, the asking price, and it's been sitting there for months, $950. And here's the thing. I've been looking for candy cabs for a while. Mariah says it's ugly. Okay. I get that. And Kevin says he can't get it because he's diabetic. So diabetics cannot own candy cabs or candy canes. Candy cranes. I'm sorry. Candy cranes are off limits. So $950 is this deal, but I have not pulled the trigger. I thought about making an offer of like $500, but then maybe it wouldn't be worth it. But I think it would be really cool. So these are imported typically from Japan. Is that right? China, Hong Kong? They're very popular in Japan. A lot of retro gaming outlets, not in Iowa, but when I've traveled, I've gone to New York and there's arcades and they're filled with candy cabs, and they do tournaments on them. I went to Cincinnati and that arcade had it. They had to sit down. It was in pretty good shape. Basically, it's like a smaller cabinet, but with a really big screen typically. And you sit down and they mod it. It's like there's no typically like artwork on the side. And it's not made of wood. It's made of, what is it made of? It's like plastic or something like that. Metal. I don't know. But for fighting games, usually put some really high-end haps in it. It's really easy to maintain. It's kind of what they're known for. So in the United States, they're more rare. You see? Pitbull knows. Get that. Because in the United States, these are typically going for about $2,000 now. Am I right, Pitbull? Candy cab, about $2,000 these days. It used to be you could get these for under $1,000. But they're more rare to get for $1,000 because people are picking up how rare they are and how great they are, and if they're imported in the US already and they're capable, they're jammer ready, and you can swap in other games in it. It's typically got a really large screen on it, and you sit down in front of it, super comfortable. You can play for hours, and it's not very tall, but it's authentic, it's genuine, it's been around for a while, has some history, has some life. I don't know if he's behind, but Pitbull is like $100 fine for that Zaxxon. Oh, $400 tops with a 19 is what he's saying. For this Namco? Really? In Iowa? $400 tops? Okay, I guess I shouldn't buy it. All right. There we go. I've been searching for years. It's the first time one came up. First time in this area. Okay, the next one that I wanted to show off, this one's $1,300, and I'm not pulling the trigger on that. On the Andy is talking about, do I know the mod hardware? I don't think it's a Pi. I think the listing said a Pandora's box with like 400 games on it. It's a no-brainer. Get it. So this is available in my area, and it's $1,300, but it looks like it needs a little bit of work. So it's not like it's a Nintendo Play Choice. Why is the name? Those in the chat. What is this called again? I can't remember. A red tint, right? So this is the red tint, and it seems to be in good condition from the point of view of the screen, but it's very scuffed up. It's very dirty looking, and they want $1,300. Is that right? $1,350. And the guy was saying that it's been sitting in a warehouse for a while. And I definitely would want one of these red tints, but one that's in slightly better condition. I don't know. Maybe it just needs wiped down. But it is something I could drive to and pick up. Maybe I could offer him like $800, and then it would be, yeah, there we go. Red tint. Maybe it'd be an upgrade. But when is it time to pull the trigger on one of these items? I know when it's time. It's definitely time to end this show. But before we do, I want to put out a poll real quick, but I need everyone to stick around, and I need everyone to vote as quickly as possible. We're going to do a 30-second speed round. Can you click very fast on this poll? And so we can get the answer to some of the questions that we've been talking about in this chat. So we're going to start a poll here. Do you wait to buy an Arcade1UP when the price drops, or enjoy the pre-order, or enjoy it earlier and longer? Okay, so the questions are: buy the pre-order. Buy the pre-order. We add another option. Wait for the price drop. Never buy. They all suck. All right, ask the community. There we go. Boom. There is a poll that is out there. I need you to, once you see that poll, it's going to be available. If you're on the television, quickly go to your phone real quick, and we're going to do a speed round. We're going to get this poll started and ended as fast as possible. We'll show the results, and then we'll end the stream. I really appreciate everyone coming out to hang out on this special podcast that's at a different time. Always enjoy everyone that hangs out in the chat. I guess from my point of view, a good podcast is one where I can't keep up with the chat, you know? And I'm sorry if I didn't get to your messages. I'll try again better next time. I try to, if I see new people that I don't recognize, I try to get their names out there. And I want to hear from you guys a couple different things. Do you guys like the slow mode? Because I've done that on some of the shows, and I've heard people complain. So this show was not slow mode, right? It was not slow mode. It was just a normal show. You could chat as much as you want. So give me in the chat. Give me an answer. What you guys think? Is it better to have the slow mode on, or better to have the slow mode off? So I'd love to hear from you guys. And so here we go. We're gonna share the screen. Present. We'll see where we're at. Here we go. End the poll, and we got, wow. Buy the pre-order, 8%. Wait for the price drop, 92%. People are mostly about saving that money. And there we go. That is the answer right there. Wait for the price drop. Really appreciate that. And another shout out to How to Bachelor. Pew pew, triggers pulled. Appreciate you. Appreciate your super chat. I really do. And last but not least, I have to mention, I still have this giveaway that's available if you're not familiar with it, but I'm generous. This is not by Arcade1UP. This is me literally buying someone a $1,000 cab. So let me know if you've entered. If you have not entered, you should enter in the chat. Have you entered to win this? Do you guys know how to enter to win the Street Fighter Pro when it finally comes out? Do you guys know how to do it? The link is in the description. All you have to do is there. You can follow me on Twitter if you want, and that's a way to enter. You can subscribe to this channel. That's a way to enter. You can enter twice. And you just hit in the description. You'll see Win a Pro. Click on the link. Fill out the information. I don't get your details. Only I know if you're the winner. That's it. And sometime next year when the pros finally come out, I will give that away. Just me giving back. Every Sunday I do this live podcast. It has ads in it. The ad revenue does add up over a couple months. And me giving back is really saying thanks to the subscribers that watch the show. If this is the first time you've heard about it, it's because I don't market this giveaway. Only inside the show, deep in the show, or halfway through or towards the end. This is my thank you for watching this podcast. It's been my dream for 10 years to do YouTube and to do a podcast where people come and hang out live and watch weekly and listen weekly. And I appreciate you. I really, really do. It's all I've wanted to do on the side. Ever since I knew podcasting was a thing, I was like, video podcasting, that can be a thing. And I really appreciate it. So this is me giving back. And let's see what we hear in the chat. Slow mode, but I'm a slow reader. Let's see. I like slow mode. Easier to keep up with the chat. Chat is too busy. You do fine. Show chat sucks. Oh, okay. Like when I show it and I talk about it. Yeah, it's hard to keep up. Let's see. A couple more things. I like the slow mode. I think more people like the slow mode. Yeah. This is interesting. Okay. I didn't see anyone say it. Okay. Slow chat, I mean. I see. Slow chat. All right. I will try to do, you know what? We'll try a slow chat again, but maybe like 30 seconds. Maybe the 30 seconds will be like a nice in between. Anyway, I've said thank you many, many times. I got to get back and hang out with a buddy now. You guys have a wonderful week. I really appreciate you tuning in and stopping by for this week's podcast. And we'll see you maybe this Wednesday. Okay, Doug, real quick. He's a member. I'm going to read his message. He says, I won't enter, Justin. However, I think it's awesome you're doing this. I have a great life. No need for a free cab, but rock on, dude. Okay, cool. I was reading your chat because I thought maybe there was a reason why you didn't want to enter, but I get it. You're just showing your support, and you're like, I don't need the free cab. That is awesome. Slow chat only sucks when you really have to chat but cannot. Okay. Like when you just chatted, the host asks a question, you know the answer but cannot answer. All right, everyone have a great week. I'll see you guys on the next one.